Alright, guys, so let's rank the Child's Play franchise with the newest Child's Play film that's separate from the other Chucky movies. Um, and this is going to be an interesting ranking because the Chucky films, even at its worst, quote unquote, I really like. So Chucky is a franchise that it's very hard to choose because I really love almost all of these movies. So this is going to be a tough one to do, but I'd say, speaking of the weakest one, for me, the weakest one still for me is Seed of Chucky. Seed of Chucky is, I think it's more funny than people give it credit for. I feel like it's supposed to be this silly and this outrageous and this nuts of a movie. So, to me, it feels like I don't know, like, I understand why people don't like it. I understand, but to me, it's to me not truly one of the worst horror movies ever made or one of the worst movies ever made. Honestly, not by a long shot is one of the worst movies ever made. I truly stand by that. This movie has filmmaking, whether it's just comedic over the top filmmaking, and it's an ambitious movie for the Chucky franchise because Don Mancini, whether you like or hate this guy and all his work with all these films, the Universal ones, he does like to do something different, whether you think it works or not. And I appreciate it every time in all of his movies. So I really do like Seed of Chucky. I do like Chucky and Tiffany really a lot. I think they're still humorous and really entertaining. Glenn is kind of a weird mixed bag because I don't dislike Glenn, but Glenn's just a very weird character, Glenn Glenda. And I don't mean weird as in exploring sexuality weird. I just mean like it's a character that is very odd on purpose. So it just kind of throws me off with how how this character is. Like this character is just a weird character. And again, I don't mean to say that in like a negative way towards what this character is, but it's just he's a very strange character. And this one, while it has like, of course, it's a movie within a movie, I still think it's entertaining because Chucky is already in the other movies, even the first couple, whenever he's more serious, he's still this character that cracks one-liners. So I feel like these jokes still, for the most part, land for Chucky, even though it's more over the top than Bride, and I love Bride. So it's weird because I don't mind this one at all. I really don't. So yeah, overall, I'd say that this is still an alright horror movie. Well, actually, wait, I take that back. I'm not going to say that because people are going to get pissed off. A comedy, horror comedy. It's basically a comedy, so that's why a lot of people are pissed off as well. People really don't like the comedy aspect, even though some people love Bride. But yeah, I understand the difference between these two. So, still, Seed of Chucky overall is still, for me, entertaining. Not as bad as everyone says it is. I think it's totally fine and serviceable. My number 7 would be Child's Play 3. Child's Play 3 is... I really love the ending. The ending's awesome. Everything else is just kind of boring because it's the same movie as the first three, but it's not, or as the first two, but it's not as entertaining. Unfortunately, it doesn't fall in that category of like I felt like the characters were way more interesting in the first two, and the gore's good in this too. But like you could tell that Don Mancini made this movie, wrote the script, and everybody worked on it and made it within 9 months of the second film being released. So there was such a quick turnaround, and this also takes place 8 years after the second movie, which just was released 9 months prior. So that's so weird. They had to have a different Andy, and Justin Whalen is good. He's totally fine. Tyler's fine. Kristen's fine. These characters are serviceable, but they're not as good or interesting as the first one. But the ending is really, really good. The ending climax is really, really awesome. And it really does make this movie way better than, for me, than like if it was a worse last act. The last act in this, I think, is great. It's so fun at a carnival with that giant ass fan blade that cuts Chucky up. That's a great way to end it for his ending in this original trilogy, because after that he would come back. But the original trilogy with Andy, it was a great way to end that. Even though the rest of the movie isn't great, it's fine, it's serviceable, but it's just kind of boring. Military setting is also kind of boring to me for some reason. I just don't think that's very interesting for a Chucky movie. So yeah, Child's Play 3, yeah, that one, it's still good overall. It's just got some boring things to it, the first two acts for me. Number 6 would be Cult of Chucky. Now this one was hard to choose between this one and the next one I'm going to rank, because both of these ones I'm going to talk about, my number 7 and my number 6 and my number 5. This is my number 6, Cult, but the number 5 too had great gore too, and I was trying to figure out which one I'd rather choose. But the thing I fell under with this movie is this one I like. I don't dislike. I really don't hate it like everybody else says. Honestly, I don't know why it's this low, but there are so many great movies in the franchise that I wanted to defend this one more, put it higher, but I couldn't, because there's like, this is my number 5, and like number 6. There's so many above this that I love, even though I do love a lot of things about this one. I wish it was higher, but there are so many great ones after this. So Cult is one of those movies that people really don't like or people love, and I really dug the hell out of this movie. I thought it was so entertaining, so fun. I love the setting in this hospital that's purely all white, so whenever the carnage happens, it stands out. The gore is some of the best gore in the franchise. It really stands out. Nika is a great continuation of how she was in the last movie. I actually like the ending a lot, even though a lot of people don't. I like it a lot. I think it's great. So it really is one of those movies that I really do like. It's just so low on the list, and it should be higher, but there's so many other great movies above it. So that's why I put it here, because it's not like, it's not my favorite, but it's still a really great one for me personally. So yeah, number 5 would be the remake that just came out, 2019. MGM made a movie that I was surprised with, because I would have expected this to be a way more cynical cash grab of a movie. And like all movies, they're cash grabs. They are to every extent a cash grab. This one, of course, is, because they're still making the other movies from Universal. But this one really did surprise me. I really like these characters. I really like the gore. I really like Chucky as a character. This character is a drastically different character than the other ones, than the other Universal Don Mancini's stuff. Because this Chucky, you feel sympathy for, even though he's a killer. It's really good. And Andy, as an older character in this movie, like he's 13, you actually feel sympathy for him, and you feel sympathy whenever he and Chucky are at odds, whenever Chucky starts going haywire, and Andy feels bad, but Chucky also feels bad as well, because he's just trying to do good for Andy, and I really love that too. And the other characters are good too, like Aubrey Plaza, Karen's good, Mike's good, those kids are good, but they're not in the movie enough. And there's a stupid explanation why Chucky's evil in this movie, like a really lazy, stupid reason at the beginning of the movie. But despite that, this has good gore, good characters, and it was hard for me to choose between this one and Cult, because both of these I really do enjoy a lot. But this remake, only watching it once, I really did dig it. So I really did enjoy the remake. Number 4 would be the original Child's Play, and this one is low, but I mean, a lot of other people have ranked it low too in terms of like ranking this franchise. And this one, what Tom Holland did in the first movie is really fantastic. This one is a little bit more dated in the effects, but still, it works very well as a first movie in the Chucky franchise, because Chucky is such a fascinating character in this one, because you see him as a human, Charles Lee Ray, until he puts his soul into the doll, and he's Brad Dourif, who's fantastic in this movie. In all the movies, he's fantastic, but he's this really unforgiving serial killer that, like, manipulates Andy and torments him, and then like by the end of the movie you've got a fantastic climax. And the Chucky movies are known for their climaxes. There's so many great ones. There's like 2 ones that aren't good or okay, but overall the climaxes in the films are great, and this is a great ending climax around the apartment where Chucky's chasing them around. He gets burnt, he gets shot. All these things that happen to Chucky is very thrilling and very entertaining, and the performances are great. Alex Vincent, even though he's a kid, is still good. He's a kid though. He's like a 5-year-old kid, so he does have slowdown moments, but that's not his fault. He's a little kid. And then Karen Barkley is fantastic. really love her character, and I think that she is such an awesome main character. She really is a likable, sympathetic like mom that like she's low on money. She doesn't have a husband. I guess the husband died. It's implied, and Catherine Hicks just gives a great job of making you feel sympathy kind of for this character because she's trying the best she can, and then she has this doll that she brings in and doesn't realize that it's possessed by a serial killer. So by the end, she becomes this badass that shoots him and kills and tries to kill him with the gun and burn him, and with help with Andy and Mike Norris. Like, that's a really great climax, and the characters, like I said, are just great, really entertaining, really fun. Really a great movie, The First Child's Play. It's so low just because, again, there's so many it's so hard to choose between what we've got here. Number 3, and this is very hard because my top 3 I could not really choose between, but my number 3 would have to be Bride of Chucky, which is so entertaining. And the reason why, if these top 3 movies I couldn't choose, but now the reason I think I put Bride underneath the next 2 I'm going to talk about is because the ending is just the first movie again, but not as good, where Chucky just gets shot down, which is unfortunate because the rest of the movie is so funny, so entertaining. I love Jennifer Tilly in this. I think she's a great addition. I think that Tiffany is such a cool, awesome, hilarious character, and her and Chucky's banter is great, but I love how that you feel like they really do love each other even though they try to kill each other all the time. And I like Nick Stabile and Katherine Heigl. Like, they're both good, like Jesse and Jade, they're both good main characters that are replacements for Andy. I didn't mind them, even though their plot is just kind of like they love each other and they're on the run. But I like their performances, and I liked all the performances in this movie, and the gore is really fantastic. Like whenever Kincaid gets hit with all the nails, it really looks awesome and fantastic. And John Ritter, like, killed in that role as this asshole character, and I really liked him a lot. And just all the gore, the glass, like Tiffany throwing the champagne bottle into the glass on the roof and it kills the people who are fooling around. That's a great moment too, and artistically awesome. And Ronnie Yu is really good at making like stylized horror movies, whether they're not, but he's not good at, like, he doesn't see the movies beforehand of the other films in the franchises like Freddy vs. Jason or this, but stylistically he's a great director. I really do love his style in this movie, and I love the humor, I love the kills, I love the characters. So the only thing that's lower for me is that the ending's kind of weak, but still, this is a really entertaining and fascinating movie. My number 2 would be Curse of Chucky. Now, this one, a lot of people like, or a lot of people don't like. I love this one. I love the fact that this is more like the original, where it's just these characters in this one house the whole movie, and they just start getting killed off. And there is a big secret with Chucky and why he is connected to these people, and to Nika, Brad Dourif's daughter, Fiona Dourif, her character, and how it connects to the whole franchise. And I love the fact and how smartly it was connected to everything. I loved how Chucky had a vendetta because Nika is the daughter of the woman that he killed because she told on him, because he was obsessed with her and tied her up. So it's not really a revenge thing. It is for Chucky, but Chucky tied up the mom and paralyzed Nika. So it's funny because I really do like that backstory. It's great, and I love the gore in this movie. It's fantastic. I really like all these characters. They are so fun and so entertaining. Barb especially. She's just one of those, so over the top you enjoy her. And like I said, Nika is great. I just really liked all these characters. They were all, I mean, of course they're characters to get killed, but I thought that they were all good in their performances and all interesting, and some of them were very unlikable, but I liked that with how good some of their performances were. So, and I just love how this connected to every other film in a fantastic little bow. Like, it was a great movie for me. And I guess you could say negatives is like Chucky doesn't look great in a lot of the scenes because it's direct-to-video, and also in Cult, and also in the new remake. Ever since, like, after Seed of Chucky, Chucky hasn't looked great in any of his movies, or not fantastic. Whether it's the Universal ones or the remake that just came out. So that's really weird. My number 1 would be Child's Play 2. And a lot of people are going to put this up this high because Child's Play 2 just does everything the first one does, even better. I love the fact that Andy Barclay is taken to this foster home, and then Chucky comes around and starts killing again. And I really loved how it's just so fun and so entertaining, and it's one of the first horror movies I watched, so that's also why it's up here too. I love Kyle. She's a great final girl character with Andy. She's an awesome actress in this movie, Christina Lee's, and really enjoy her. I really enjoyed the climax. Is the best climax I think in the whole franchise. Them at a good guy factory where Chucky could be lurking anywhere. How many times he almost gets killed but he doesn't, and then the way he gets killed where he gets his head blown up like a balloon. Awesome. I just love how this is a fantastic continuation to this first one, but it's just done even more better, and it's the most entertaining of the films in the franchise for me, and it's just one of the great ones with gore and effects, and just Chucky is on his A game. Alex Vincent is really good in this. Christina Lee's again is great. All the other actors are great. This has some of the most iconic moments in the franchise, so this is why Child's Play 2 is my number one. So that is my new ranking on the Child's Play films with Child's Play 2019 included. So tell me how you would rank the franchise down below, and thank you guys so much for watching.